I always thought buying our first home would feel like stepping into sunlight. A fresh chapter. A loud exhale after years of saving every possible dollar. My husband and I had been dreaming about this moment. 2 years of skipped vacations. 2 years of cheap dinners. Slow weekends. Working extra hours. Discipline. Patience. Sacrifice. All for a place we could finally call ours. And when we walked into that agency's office, the one everyone in the city swore was the best, I truly believed we were walking into the beginning of our future. The carpet smelled new. The lights were warm. There were shiny plaques on the wall, gold letters spelling out top producer of the year next to braggy photos of agents in suits. One picture stood out. Our future nightmare. A tall, slick-haired man with a blinding smile and perfect teeth. His name was everywhere. Posters, wall frames, award certificates, even a cardboard cutout in the lobby holding a fake house key like he was some hero. Wow, I whispered. Looks like they're proud of him. My husband laughed. Well, at least we're getting someone experienced. I remember that moment so clearly, because I had no idea how badly I would regret those words. Before we could even sit down, a receptionist waved happily and said, "Oh, you must be here for him. He's our best." Best at what? I would soon learn. He came out of his office with that same award-winning smile. He shook our hands like he owned the world. His suit looked more expensive than our car. His cologne hit before his voice did. "Welcome, welcome," he said, with fake energy so thick it almost dripped off the walls. "You to look like dream clients." He hadn't even seen our finances yet. He just saw we were young, optimistic, hopeful. In other words, easy prey. We sat in his office, which had glossy brochures, model homes on shelves, a massive mahogany desk, and a framed quote that said, "Real estate is trust." Oh, the irony! He made us feel comfortable at first. He asked about our jobs, our marriage, our goals. He complimented our credit scores, both over 800, and said we were the client's realtor's dream of. "You guys are every agent's fantasy," he said with a wink. Tier 1 credit, years of savings, stable jobs. You're practically walking commission checks. He laughed. We laughed too, awkwardly, because we thought it was a silly joke. But it wasn't a joke to him. It was prophecy. Then he pulled out the contract. The buyer, agency agreement. The papers that would lock us into a nightmare we never saw coming. He tapped it with his pen. "This is standard. Just 3 months. Totally normal. Just says you won't go behind my back with another agent." We nodded. We trusted him. We were so eager to start looking at homes that we didn't slow down, didn't overthink, didn't question. We signed. But what he never pointed out, what he never explained, what he intentionally hid, was the single line that changed everything. Contract duration? 12 months. Not 3. Not 6. 12. A full year of being legally chained to this man. A year we would never get back. But in that moment, we were naive. We were excited. We were too trusting. We thought he'd help us find our dream home. We had no idea we had just handed our future to someone who never intended to help us at all, someone whose greed would turn our lives into a cage, someone who would push us into the deepest anger we had ever known, someone who would regret ever crossing us. But that revenge, that comes later. For now, the trap was set, and we walked right into it. The shift happened the moment we told him our price range. We said it proudly, because we had done the math, planned responsibly, and wanted a home we could comfortably afford. Our range is around $150,000, below what we were approved for. Instant transformation. His face stiffened. His lips thinned. His eyebrows twitched like we'd personally insulted him. And that salesman's smile? It died instantly. He leaned back slowly. Hands clasped. Eyes narrow. "Why?" he said, voice suddenly cold. "Are you lowering your standards?" The room went silent. My stomach dropped. He continued, getting more irritated with every breath. "With credit like yours, you should be looking at way more expensive homes. This is a waste of potential." We exchanged confused looks. He wasn't disappointed for us. He was disappointed for himself, because he had already imagined the size of the commission check he would get if he pushed us to max out our budget, and now the dream check gone. He wasn't subtle, either. "You have no relatives who could cosign. Maybe someone older, with good money, who might, not be around forever?" I froze. Was he suggesting we exploit a dying family member? My husband sat up sharply. "Excuse me?" He shrugged like it was normal. "It's common. You get the house paid off faster. Bigger loan, bigger return. Everybody wins." No, not everybody, only him. He even refused to show homes in the area we wanted. "I don't show properties over there. It's beneath the market value I work with." Beneath him, he meant. That was the first moment I realized this man didn't see us as clients. He saw us as profit margins. We weren't people. We were numbers. And because we refused to match his fantasy of a bigger commission, he punished us with silence. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. We sent house links, dream homes, places we fell in love with. He ignored us, or took 10 days to respond, or didn't have time to schedule tours. And then the breaking point. The house I had loved, truly loved, sold while he was ghosting us. I stared at the screen, tears streaming, knowing we never even had a chance. And he didn't care. He didn't apologize. He didn't even acknowledge it. That was the moment something inside me cracked. Something quiet, but sharp. A seed of rage. A seed of revenge. But I still tried to be polite. I tried to be the bigger person. And when I asked, gently, if he could release us from the contract because we clearly weren't aligned, his mask dropped completely. He didn't respond with empathy. He didn't respond like a professional. He didn't even respond like a human being. He said, "I'll be running your financials for the next year. If you buy anything without me, I get paid. Reread that contract and find a lawyer." Then he blocked our numbers and left us in a cage for an entire year. When the agency laughed at us, actually laughed, everything inside me boiled over. "You signed it," they said. "It's binding. Just try to work it out with him." Good luck taking us to court. We left that office shaking, angry, embarrassed, violated. We were trapped, and we felt powerless. Our lawyer told us the truth. Yes, we could fight, but they had a massive legal team. They would drain us financially just to drag the case out. So we did the only thing we could. We waited 12 long months. A year of suffocating frustration. A year of watching homes slip away. A year of wanting a future we couldn't touch. A year where every financial decision required paranoia, caution, fear. Because he was checking. Oh, he was checking. He stalked our credit. He monitored our finances. He dug through our public data weekly. He had turned into a vulture waiting for us to slip up, so he could swoop in for an easy check. We didn't know this at the time. We'd learn it later. But during that year, every day felt like waiting for a storm to hit. And yet, something unexpected happened. While he was waiting for us to make a mistake, we were quietly saving more money, more than we ever planned, more than we ever thought possible. His trap became our advantage, his greed became our fuel, his year-long chokehold became the push that moved us into a higher price range than he ever wanted for us. He thought he was watching us, but we were growing, preparing, planning, and the day that contract ended, the future he tried to steal from us, we took it back, with interest. The final month felt like electricity under my skin. We were so close to freedom I could taste it, day by day. I crossed dates off the calendar like a prisoner marking days in a cell. But this wasn't just a countdown, this was preparation. Because once that contract expired, we were going to buy, quickly, powerfully, without him. And he was going to watch it happen. He just didn't know it yet. The last 30 days of that contract felt like living on the edge of a knife. Every morning I woke up with the same thought. Just a little longer. Just survive this month. Don't slip. Don't panic. Don't let him have the satisfaction. But the anger. Oh, the anger was growing. Every time we drove past a for sale sign. Every time a friend bought their home before us. Every time my mother asked, "Any updates on the house hunt?" Every time I saw news about skyrocketing prices and realized we could have owned a home months ago if it weren't for him. It was like the world was moving forward and we were glued to the past because of one greedy man. My husband tried to stay calm, but I saw the frustration bubbling under his eyes. The tight jaw, the late night pacing, the way he stared at the laptop, scrolling through listings we couldn't even touch yet. One night, after a long silence, he whispered, "You know, he stole a year from us." I nodded. My throat tightened. "He didn't just steal a year," I said. "He stole memories, opportunities, time, dreams." And that's when I realized the truth. The contract wasn't the cage. The way it made us feel was the cage. We felt small, voiceless, used, violated, helpless. But that helplessness, it was turning into something sharper, something colder, something dangerous. A new emotion simmered behind my ribs. Revenge. Deep, patient, calculated revenge. The kind that doesn't explode, the kind that waits. The kind that watches. The kind that strikes when the enemy thinks everything is safe. The final week was heavy. Every day felt like a countdown to a war only we knew was coming. On Monday, I saw a house online that made my chest ache. Nothing fancy, nothing huge, but honest, warm, perfect. We couldn't tour it yet. We couldn't call anyone yet. We could only look. On Wednesday, I drove past our dream neighborhood and imagined a life there. Dogs barking, kids riding bikes, neighbors waving, windows glowing at night, a life that should have started months ago. On Friday, my husband came home from work with that determined look again. The moment that contract ends, he said, "We call a new realtor." First thing in the morning. But the real moment, the moment this whole story pivots, happened on Sunday night. The final night, the last hour, like the universe wanted to make the ending personal. We were lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, both unable to sleep. "I hope he watched us this whole year," my husband murmured. "I hope he truly believed we'd slip, that we'd buy something tiny, cheap, weak, something he could sink his teeth into." I turned to him. "We're going to buy bigger," I said. "Smarter, stronger. And he will have to watch the entire thing." My husband smiled for the first time in weeks. "Yeah, let him choke on it." We fell asleep with one thought. He thinks he caged us. He has no idea what he created instead. The next morning hit like sunrise after a prison sentence. The contract was officially dead. We got out of bed with a speed I didn't know we had. My husband made coffee so fast he spilled half of it. I grabbed the laptop before the screen fully loaded. We didn't even speak. We didn't need to. We contacted the new realtors, a small private team known for being ethical, kind, and brutally honest. They responded in minutes. Come in today. Yes. Yes. Their office felt different. No giant photos of themselves. No braggy trophies. No empty hype. Just warm smiles and real people. We told them everything. The contract, the manipulation, the ghosting, the financial stalking. They looked horrified, not because of the drama, but because they actually cared. Don't worry, the lead realtor said softly. You're safe now. You're with us, and we're going to make sure you get everything he didn't want you to have. I almost cried. For the first time in a year, I felt like a human being again, not a walking commission check. The next 48 hours were a whirlwind. Tours booked, listings researched, phone calls, meetings, hope, real, actual hope, and then we found it, the home. The real dream home. Not the one we lost. Not the ones we settled for. Not the ones he refused to show. This one was bigger, better, safer, warmer, and more perfect than anything we had ever imagined. And it was $150,000 over the original range. The range he mocked. The range he insulted. The range he refused to help us with. We made an offer immediately. It was accepted almost instantly, and closing day was set. We were finally winning. But fate had prepared one last twist. The sellers, by pure coincidence, used his agency, which meant he was going to see us. He was going to see the house. He was going to see the sale price. He was going to see what he lost. He was going to see the couple he tried to manipulate. When closing day felt like stepping into the climax of a movie, we walked into the building. The same one we'd visited a year earlier. But this time, our heads were high. Our hands were steady. Our hearts were armored with everything we'd endured. We sat in the conference room waiting to sign. And then, footsteps in the hallway, fast, panicked, sharp. I didn't want to look, but I did. And there he was. The man who had caged us. The man who had laughed at our budget. The man who had stalked our finances for a year. The man who had thought we were stupid, naive, powerless. He looked exactly how I wanted him to look. Shocked, sweating, confused, panicking, destroying files, searching drawers, scrambling like an animal cornered in its own trap. His eyes met mine through the glass window, and the fear, the pure terror, that flashed across his face. I will never forget it. He mouthed something to his coworker. What? What? No, 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 no. That house. They're buying that house? His coworker nodded. He looked like he'd just lost a fortune. Because he had. He ran to find a copy of the contract. Desperate, frantic, like a man drowning. But the boss stepped out of his office and said loudly, "Stop. The contract expired a month ago. You can't interfere." He froze completely. I watched him crumble. Emotionally, professionally, spiritually. His boss leaned closer, still audible through the hall. "And by the way, we know you've been using company time and money to dig into their financials all year. Go home. Right now." Everyone stared. He looked sick, destroyed, humiliated, and for the first time since this nightmare started, I felt something unexpected. Peace. The kind of peace that hits when karma arrives right on time. We finished signing. We shook hands with our realtors. We walked out of that office like victory had weight to it. And before we left the building, I turned one last time and saw him standing there, motionless, pale, broken. A man who tried to steal from us, tried to intimidate us, tried to control us, but in the end, he lost everything while we gained everything he tried to take. I didn't plan on revenge. Not at first. For months after he ruined my life, I tried to rebuild quietly. I worked double shifts. I rented a single room. I ate whatever was cheap. I learned to sleep without nightmares. I learned to walk without tears. But one thing I never learned was how to forget. I didn't forget the night he proposed. I didn't forget the ring that meant nothing to him. I didn't forget how he cheated the same night. I didn't forget losing a child he never even knew existed. I didn't forget the girl he brought home as I slept on his couch, pretending I couldn't hear them. Pain has a long memory, but so does truth. And truth always returns home. Years passed, and I didn't expect him to show up again. Not at my door. Not in the middle of a normal Tuesday. Not looking like life had chewed him and spat him onto concrete. He was thinner, less sure, more desperate. The kind of desperate that only comes when the world stops treating a man like a king. Hey, he said. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to. He stood there awkwardly, shifting his weight. I know it's been years. I need help. There it was. The real reason for his visit. Not gratitude. Not regret. Not love. Help. Double quotes. What kind of help? I asked. He swallowed hard. I'm applying for this position. A really good one. They need references. He looked at me like I still owed him something. Like I was still that girl who would have crawled through hell for him. I listed you, he said quietly. What? My voice wasn't loud, but it was sharp enough to make him flinch. You were important in my life. They want personal references. Someone who knows me well. He gave a small, pathetic laugh. You always told the truth. They'll trust you. Trust. Funny word coming from the man who broke every piece of it. I should have slammed the door. I should have told him to rot in whatever mess he created. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the ghost of the child I never got to meet. Maybe it was the version of me he destroyed. Maybe it was the simple realization that life had placed the perfect weapon in my hands. You listed me, I repeated slowly. He nodded. And they'll call? Yeah, today. Or tomorrow. He looked hopeful. Hope looked ugly on him now. I smiled. A calm, careful smile. All right, I said. I'll pick up. He exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for years. Thank you. Really. This job. It could fix everything. He left believing I was still the girl he could step on. But she died long ago. He just didn't know it yet. The call came the next morning. A clean, professional voice. Hello, we're calling regarding a reference for _________. You were listed as someone who can speak to his character. Oh, I could speak. I'd been silent for too long. Yes, I said. I knew him very well. Would you be willing to share your experience? My fingers tightened around the phone. Not shaking. Steady. Controlled. I'll tell you the truth, I said, because I think a company deserves honesty. There was a small pause. Please go ahead. So I began, and I told them everything, not with anger, not with curse words, not with the wild rage he expected from me, with calm, with clarity, with facts. I told them how he proposed to me, how he cheated the same night, how he brought Another girl home while I slept in the next room. How he lied, without blinking. How he manipulated. How he never took responsibility for anything he destroyed. How he left me alone when I needed him the most. He didn't mention the pregnancy. That part was mine, not his. But I told them enough. Enough to paint the truth he'd spent years escaping. The interviewer listened silently, professionally, but I could hear the shift in her tone, the way her breathing slowed, the way her pen scratched harder against paper. When I finished, she said quietly, "Thank you for your honesty." The call ended, and so did the last piece of the life he tried to resurrect. 2 days later, he appeared again, angry this time, eyes red, jaw tight. "You told them, didn't you?" "I told them the truth. You ruined my life." I tilted my head. "Funny. That's exactly what I wanted to say to you years ago." He opened his mouth, closed it, then stepped closer in frustration. "You could have let it go." "I did let it go," I interrupted. "Then you came back." He froze. "You asked me to speak honestly," I said, "and I did. You're still punishing me." He shouted it like a child denied candy. "No," I said softly. "No punishment. Just consequences. Real consequences. Not the ones he used to run from." He stood there, breathing hard, as if he expected me to undo the damage with an apology. But I wasn't sorry. Not even a little. He destroyed the version of me who loved him. He buried the version of me who cried for him. He didn't know the version of me who survived him. But he met her today. "Get out of my life," I said. And this time, my voice didn't shake. He left. For good, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I didn't feel broken. I didn't feel invisible. I felt free. Because the truth didn't just expose him, it healed me. It put the final stone on a grave I'd been digging for years. Not for him, but for the pain he left behind. And the revenge. It wasn't loud. It wasn't violent. It wasn't dramatic. It was honest. And honesty can be the sharpest weapon of all. The world has a way of balancing itself. Quietly, cruelly, without anyone noticing. Until it's too late. Weeks passed after the reference call. He didn't reach out again. Not by email. Not by phone. Not even a single desperate text at first. I worried. Did he realize I destroyed his chance at that job? Did he know the truth followed him like a shadow? Then the whispers started. Small at first. Colleagues at the agency murmuring in hallways. Clients asking questions. Calls from friends we hadn't expected. He had been fired. The company didn't elaborate. Some said it was ethics violations. Others said it was behavior complaints. We didn't care. But the truth, the full truth, was even more satisfying. I discovered his reputation wasn't just slipping. It was evaporating. His name was being quietly removed from listings. His profile erased from the agency website. No one would hire him. No one trusted him. Even old clients who once praised him now whispered about him like he was toxic, untrustworthy, dangerous. Every social media post he made went ignored. Every effort to network ended with silence. Every lead he chased ran cold. And the best part? All of this happened while he was still licking the wounds I'd inflicted. Every night, he went to bed knowing he had been exposed. And every day, he woke up knowing he could do nothing to undo it. I didn't lift a finger. I just let the truth work its magic. Karma doesn't need help when it's this perfect. Meanwhile, my life was flourishing. I took the house, remodeled it just the way I wanted, and created a sanctuary. My husband and I laughed again, not nervously, but freely, the kind of laughter that comes from surviving storms. Friends came over, amazed at how much we had accomplished in the years he tried to steal from us. We bought furniture, painted walls, planted flowers, not just decorating a house, but reclaiming our lives. Every corner of that home became a monument to what he tried to destroy. And what we had survived, our careers blossomed too. I got promoted. My husband's business grew. And all the while, I couldn't help but think about him. Watching him struggle while I thrived made my heart pound with a mix of relief and satisfaction. It wasn't just revenge. It was vindication. I had built a life he never imagined possible. A life he could never touch. A life he had no part in, except for being the catalyst. Then came the final stroke of revenge. Months later, at a networking event, I overheard someone mention his name. He had applied for a new position, the same type of dream role he had sought from me before. Curious, I asked around. The whispers were cruel. He had lied on the application. He had exaggerated his achievements. And now, no one would hire him. The final icing on the cake, the agency that had fired him contacted me, secretly, to confirm facts about his behavior. They needed proof he had lied about client interactions, complaints, and ethical violations. I gave it. Every detail, every lie, every manipulation. The truth crushed him. The job he had dreamed of, gone. His credibility shattered. His ego obliterated. And all because he underestimated the woman he tried to manipulate, cheat, and control. I didn't even gloat. I didn't need to. I realized something important during all of this. Revenge isn't always about yelling. It isn't about violence. It isn't about making a scene. Revenge can be quiet. Revenge can be slow. Revenge can be life itself. I didn't just ruin him. I didn't just take a job away. I didn't just make him miserable. I rose. I thrived. I became everything he wanted to control, and more. And that, more than anything, was the sweetest revenge of all. Years later, I passed by his name in old documents. Occasionally, a former client will comment on his new ventures, how they ended in failure. And every time, I smile. Not because I am cruel, not because I celebrate failure, but because justice doesn't need celebration. It's quiet. It's inevitable. It's perfect. He tried to trap me. He tried to control me. He tried to use me, and in doing so, he gave me the tools to create a life far beyond his reach. He fell. I rose. And the world knew, whether he did or not, that he lost. Completely. Irrevocably. I am free. I am powerful. I am victorious. And he is a cautionary tale. A ghost of greed and manipulation.